So can you tell me about what you did at the World Bank?
Sure. So at the World Bank, my responsibilities were to onboard and offboard clients. There would be a lot of clients that would be coming from different divisions, different part of the country or other countries. So it was to set up their laptop, their account, Office 365, Active Directory accounts, and make sure that they onboarded correctly while having access to their email, Outlook, virtual desktop, and such. Um, we would use the ServiceNow ticketing system. Uh, Most of our ticketing, the ticket that would come to us would be a tier 2 ticket, because most of the tickets would go through help desk tier 1 first, and then it would get escalated if they were not able to resolve the ticket within 10 minutes. So a lot of my tickets would be hands-on, face-to-face, meeting the customer, but there would be a lot of the times that clients are working hybrid or remote, so I would have to remote support them. um, for offboarding someone, you have to take their laptop, re-image it, do some asset management, put in the data sheets about where their laptop is, and disposal of the laptop. And then we'd also support audio and video in a conference room. So we would join some meetings, VP meetings, high level meetings, to make sure everything is working. And yeah, if they need any help, we would be there for the first 15 minutes. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, that's good. At Hilton, we also use ServiceNow, and then so that you're familiar with the ticketing system, and then we heavily rely on it. And every week, B from Emerald is helping us to pull the report of how many tickets the technician able to close, and then how many outstanding. So just give you an impression of how heavily we rely on the ticketing system to show the performance of the technician and how busy we are. Because in the past we do have a technician saying that we are very busy, but then when we look at the ticket volume is very low. From a manager or leadership perspective, if you do not have anything back up, say to support what's so-called busy, then it's not working at all. So we heavily rely on the ticketing system, regardless how small or the large task is. There needs to be a ticket in the system.
Right.
All right. And then you did mention about supporting the high profile meeting at the office. So can you walk me through the process? If a user reach out to you, say, Wasafo, I need AV support on, let's say, tomorrow at 10 a.m. What is the process? How are you going to support them?
Sure. So if the user reaches out, I'll use the. First of all, I gotta make sure I understand what kind of support they're seeking. If it's just virtual support, then I would have to log in 15 minutes earlier with them and make sure their audio and video settings are correct. But usually, if it's a high-level executive, they're most likely going to be in person, doing inside of a conference room while connecting remotely with the other clients. So we would remote connect through that conference room to Cisco's admin portal to remotely check all the video and audio settings in the conference room, and they're able to join a Teams meeting. And then we'd do that ahead of the time, and then 15 minutes before the interview, we would log in or send someone there physically to check all the connections are ready. And then we would stay for the 15 minutes after the video conference starts, to make sure everything is good, and then we'll let them know that, hey, I'll be leaving. If anything happens, send me a Teams chat, and I'll be assisting you.
Okay. We have a similar process in here, but then can you let me know what type of meeting platform you use at the World Bank?
We support Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, and little bit of Zoom. Not common, but sometimes.
Okay. So what if a user come to you and say, I have let's say a Google Meet. Can you support it? Then what would be your response?
Yeah. Most of the conference call or meeting call apps are very similar, so I would just need to brush up on all the settings and what they do in Google Meeting, and then I'll be able to support them. But we don't support Google Meeting at the World Bank.
Okay. All right. That's good. So that you know what's limitation at World Bank. Similar at Hilton, our official platform there, Microsoft Teams as well as WebEx. If anyone asks for Zoom or Google Meet, it will be not able to support in any conference room because they are not equipped with supporting this type of software. So that's good. We are on the same platform. I mean, same page on the limitation. Hey, V, I see James just joined. If you would like, you can hang up.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Jess.
Uh-huh. All right. Hey, James, welcome back.
Hello.
All right. So I will have to ask question. Then later on you can introduce yourself and then ask the question that you have. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's move to a little forward to the AWS service. So can you tell me what you did over there?
Sure. At AWS, I was in their data centers in Ashburn as the night shift position. I would have to manage a whole data center by myself, monitor the server logs, make sure all the ticketing that are coming in are not, major critical. And if they are critical, then I'm fully responsible to respond to the ticket and acknowledge it within a minute. Since it's like, if a server goes down, I have to be there ready on site and start troubleshooting right away, or connect with the NRE, network engineer, or electrical engineer if in case it's a power issue. So I was using AWS Boost as their ticketing system to monitor the queues. And then I was doing hands-on troubleshooting with servers, physical troubleshooting, step-by-step method, RAM, CPU, GPU, storage, as such. I also had the little fixing routers, Cisco routers at the server level, and then also had experience with laying down fiber optic cables, testing fiber optic or copper cables, making sure that they're able to connect to the network, do some ping testing, and we used Linux command lines in the console. So using that, I would run Linux command lines scripts to understand what's going on in the server if it has ping SSH as such. We would also have to report to our manager and site lead about everything that's happening throughout the day and night.
All right. Then can you tell me how do you guys test the fiber optic testing?
So fiber optic testing. I forgot the name of the tool, but we have a tool where you disconnect the fiber from the head, attach it to it's like a loop box test. see if there any connectivity on each one side of the fiber, and then you trace that fiber through the racks to the other end of the fiber, which would be in a different main board. So you would do a test to see where the connectivity is going. So based on that, you can figure out, okay, this fiber is having issues because of the head on this side of the mother. I forgot the name, but the patch panel. Yeah, this side of the patch panel. And we would replace a lot of the fiber optic heads, and it would be a LiDAR test because this fiber optic is light.
Mm-hmm. All right. When you're saying replace the fiber optic heads, how did you replace those?
We had a tool that would separate from the cable and the head, so you would use a kind of like a wrench to break out one of the head and then replace it with the different head, because most of the time it would be the head that would connect through the cable, so you have to lay the cable in, press it, and then test it out.
Okay. All right. And then you mentioned that you will manage the whole data center. So is it just you just working on the server day to day? Do you have any coworker or any user at the site that you support?
I would have teammates, but most of the time I would be alone. But I'm also working as a team with other data centers to make sure that their data center is also, I'm also monitoring their data center, which they're like right next to me, like in a different building, but we have to make sure that all of our data center SEV1, SEV2 tickets that do come in, it has to be acknowledged. So if someone was to be out, or someone didn't acknowledge their ticket right away, we would have to acknowledge it for them and start working on behalf of our teammate. Yes.
All right, sounds good. And then, and then, what was the reason that you left AWS?
Because of the night shift position, I wanted to switch to something that was day shift, and that I kind of was there. I kind of learned everything there was to learn about it, so I wanted to try a different challenge as well.
Okay. And then let's see. Do you consider yourself as a Windows user or Mac user?
I would consider myself a Windows user. I have used Macs. I own a Mac. I've supported some Mac users in the World Bank. I've done some data recovery at Staples, transferring files in their systems, but mainly I'm a Windows user.
Okay, so at Hilton we have 70% of Windows users, 30% of the Mac users. But out of those 30% Mac user, most of them are executive, including our CFO, HR head officers. So have a basic Mac knowledge is a must. Can you walk me through how to reset the keychain on a Mac?
How to reset a keychain in a Mac?
Correct.
So if I'm correct, keychain is the password management tool in Mac. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you would have to go to the preference section in the MacBook, and then you would have to log in to which account your keychain is connected to. You would have to type your former password in, and then there would be an option that it says if you wanted to reset a password within your keychain. But are you talking about resetting a whole keychain of your
Correct.
account? Okay.
Reset the whole keychain. I'm not updating it. Reset the keychain.
Okay. I'm not sure I don't have that experience of resetting a whole keychain.
Okay, no problem, but then you are in the right direction. All right. Let's do the next one. So on a Mac, can you walk me through how to find the IP address?
IP address in a Mac. I have to think. You would have to open their system preference, network settings, and then you would there's another way actually. You would have to open the terminal and then type I don't know, is it TCP/IP? And
Hey James, can you try to type it on your Mac to see if it works? How to find the IP address? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm trying now. So what command are you asking me to run?
TCP/IP.
Backslash or forward slash?
//
It says that command cannot be found.
Okay. So can you try ipconfig
So ipconfig does not work either.
I see. Oh, I think it's netstat for Mac. Can you try netstat?
Sure. Could you spell it out for me real quick?
NETSTAT.
Sorry, I need to pick up this call.
Netstat?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that gave me some IP addresses. Let's see.
Does it work?
Yeah. So that IP that command works. Netstat.
All right, that's great. Cool.
It
Then,
gives you the local address, the address. Yep.
thank you. All right, then at the World Bank, what type of phone system do you guys use?
It's primarily iOS devices, iPhones. Yes, sometimes there would be Android support as well.
Mm-hmm. Then on an iPhone, can you walk me through how to find the serial number?
Serial number or IMEI number?
Serial.
I see.
If you have your phone with you, you can take a look at it too.
It's okay. It would be on settings.
Mm-hmm.
General.
You have an Android or
general.
Mac?
I have an iPhone.
Okay.
General, about, and then there's your model number and serial number.
You got it. That's great. All right. Then on a Windows machine, if a user, I am a regular user, I call the help desk saying that my Outlook is not working. What would be your troubleshooting steps?
So for Outlook, you would have to make sure you have connectivity to the internet, And,
Okay, I am able to connect to the internet.
and then you have to run it in safe mode. Run the app in safe mode, and then
Why do I need to run it in a safe mode?
sorry,
Why do I need to run it in a safe mode?
because they would be using limited resource, and that would have the minimum config of the app, so that if there's no other aspect to it that would cause it from crashing or disconnecting.
Okay, that will be your troubleshooting steps, right?
Yeah, that's part of my troubleshooting step. And
Okay.
and then go to the settings of the app, run the troubleshooter inside of the office, and then you would click repair office, and then it would perform a send receive method inside of the troubleshooter, and then you would also try to see what happens, what kind of feedback you get from the troubleshooting, and then from there you'd go on, or if not, then you would update the app, and you would make sure the sync button is on and it's able to sync. If not, then I would have to escalate the ticket to office admin to let them see what's going on in the background, because sometimes I have a limited access.
Okay. I did not do any of you mentioned, but then I noticed my Outlook saying is offline at the bottom right corner.
Okay. If Outlook says offline, but you're still able to connect to the internet,
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
then you would have to repair your profile in the account settings.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would allow you from Microsoft's side to see if there's anything in the background that's keeping the DHCP connecting issue.
All right. So all your troubleshooting steps are correct, but then the most important thing is if it's say offline, you can just go up to the send and received tab and click on the offline, and then it will bring it back to online, connect to the Exchange. If that does not work, then you can go through all the steps that you mentioned. Remember, start from the basic before you jump into anything difficult. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And I think that's all the question I have for now. Let me pass it to James to see if he has any questions for you.
Sure.
How do you pronounce your name?
Wasiful.
Wasiful. My name is James. Just to introduce myself, I'm a technician here at the McLean corporate office. I've been on Jess's team for about 3 years now, and the Hilton's a great company to work for. The hospitality here is great. Customer service here is amazing, and the people we work with they're phenomenal. So really no complaints at all, and this place has been a great place to work, not only for the people but also for the experience. So I was going to mention to Jess's point about, she mentioned, Jess, you mentioned that your Outlook wasn't working. Is that right?
Correct.
So the thing is when we get some kind of from a user, when a user says something like that, first thing before we start any kind of troubleshooting, I think, is we need to ask questions. So like when someone says my Outlook is not working, then we need to, that's very vague, right? We need to ask them, what about Outlook is not working? And then they can go on to explain, oh, I'm able to open the app, but she said later on, right, that it was showing as offline. So I'm bringing this up because whenever we're asked a question, some questions can be very specific and some questions can be very vague. But as a technician, we need to know the correct questions to ask. Because if we don't ask the correct questions, then we're just going to be doing a bunch of troubleshooting, without actually pinpointing the actual situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when she says like, "Oh, my Outlook is not working," then we should say, "Okay, what about your Outlook is not working?" And then she can go on to explain that, "Oh, it's showing as offline." Then once we pinpoint it down, then we can go through the troubleshooting steps to specifically to that issue to find out what the resolution is, rather than doing all these other different steps that really doesn't, talk about the issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one thing here is at Hilton is we get asked a lot of questions, and there's never a dull moment here. We're never just laying back in our chair. We're always on the move, always talking to people, always helping people. Our time is very I would say precious here at Hilton because we don't have much time. So what I mean by that is whenever faced a question or someone asks you a question, make sure that we ask the right questions back to find out what the situation is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, like, let's say you're working on a ticket for some time, but you're not able to resolve the issue. You've tried multiple troubleshooting steps, then where would you go from there? I'm asking very vaguely as the issue because I don't have like an issue at that point in time. But let's say you're just working on an overall like computer issue, but you're not able to resolve it. Then how would you go about it?
First, I would ask my coworkers if they have encountered such an issue before. Try to see if anyone knows about the issue. If not, then I would reach out to my manager asking for assistance. Most of the time, they've done the work, they've been there, done that, so most of the time they would reach out to me and help me out with the issue, but I wouldn't hesitate. If I don't know how to resolve it, I wouldn't hesitate on saying to my manager, "Hey, I'm not sure how to resolve this. Could you help?"
Yeah. I mean, it's good answer. Working with your coworkers is good, but what I would say is like, instead of going to your coworkers and maybe they don't know the answer, then before going to your manager, then why not do the research yourself? We live in the 21st century. We have Google. We can go to Google. We can find out the answer, right? So the thing is if we were to go to our manager, then our manager might know an answer right away, or two, they might use Google to find the answer. But I think a manager would appreciate it more if, like, before coming to them, that you did your research first. That way they see that you've done your homework, right? Rather than come to them with all these issues, and they provide you with all the answers, right? So yes, we have our coworkers and we have Google, and in last resort would be our manager. So
yeah, for me, I wouldn't. When you are saying that I tried everything, Googling would be one of the things I would try, and I assumed that you Googled and you couldn't find something. That's why I would go to the manager.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I mean, the internet has everything, right? So we have to use it.
Yeah.
So, let's say you're dealing with a user that's asking for non-standard equipment. Then they pull you aside. You're walking through the floors, and they pull you aside,
mm-hmm.
and they say, "Hey, I really wanted to get this." Right? Then what would you say to them, and how would you go about it?
Well,
for example, like they came to you like, "Hey, I really want an iPad." And how would you go about it?
Okay. Well, I would let them know that's unfortunately that's not part of the standard equipment that you could request. I would ask them to connect with me later, set up a time to talk about it with me remotely, so that I can have time to research about if there's a special request form that the system has that someone can request an iPad. and then I would get back to them, let them know the process. If there's no process, then I would simply apologize and say, hey, it's not covered part of the standard equipment, so thus we don't have a system that could get you an iPad.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, what I'm happy about is that you didn't promise the customer anything, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to promise the user anything, because if we promise the user something, and then it can come back to bite us, right? So, oh hey, no, they promised me an iPad. You know, I have it here. I voice memo recorded it, right? I have him saying, right? So, because it can make our team look bad, right? So whenever someone comes up to us with asking for something that's not standard, then we like to politely tell them that, you know, this is not part of our standard ordering. You know, we could ask if they have a business justification for it, and then ultimately it would be something that our manager and probably their manager has to approve for something like that to go through. But good answer. And then let's say like you're dealing with a user, like their Outlook hasn't been working, right? Like Jess was explaining, but it's been going on for about a week or two, and they're really frustrated, they're really upset, they're really angry. Then how would you go about like helping this user, though that they are very angry and frustrated about the situation? Then how would you help this user?
Sure. First, I would like to de-escalate the situation by just listening, asking questions that would make me pinpoint on what exactly the problem was, as well as try to sympathize with them. Understand them, explain to them like, yes, this is very frustrating. I hear you. I want to help you. I need to know the things that are going wrong. So allow me to help. I will try my best. I will reach out to a higher person if needed, if the problem needs to be escalated. So I would just listen, understand what they're going through, sympathize, and then try to troubleshoot or escalate the issue.
Gotcha. Okay. No problem. So then, yeah, here at Hilton, we're very like customer facing, like Jess was saying earlier, is every day we have someone in our face, right? We have someone talking to us, someone that's happy, frustrated, you know, we don't know. And some people might have a bad day, right? But working for Hilton, we really learn like our customer service skills and hospitality skills really, really come alive here. So all of our technicians, they have to have good customer service, know how to talk to people, know how to handle situations, things like that. Because here we have to keep that same environment and make sure that everyone is happy. So we can never lose our composure. We always have to have a good head on our shoulders, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I guess you know, those are really all the questions I had at this moment. I know Jess went over some technical questions earlier, but I think I had two questions. One was about technical, like one technical was like at the World Bank or AWS, besides cell phones, did you have any experience with any like desk phones? And if so, then what brand was the desk phone?
I never had the chance to troubleshoot a desk phone. At World Bank, they have a Cisco desk phone,
Okay.
but not.
We also use Cisco desk phones here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how to get a MAC address of the desk phone?
No, I do not.
Okay. Yeah, it's real simple.
Oh wait, did you say MAC address?
Go ahead. The MAC address, yes.
It would be physically on the phone, on the back of the phone, because it's MAC. Is physical address, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the easiest way to find it. But you might find a phone that without it, then you would have to go within the settings, you know?
Okay.
So the last question is I have, then I'll turn it back over to Jess's. what is your career goal, right? You worked at AWS and the World Bank doing IT and Staples too, right? So like you have some IT experience. Then what is your career goal, or where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Yeah, so right now my goal is to so basically I'm on a like a path I have in my mind. So AWS was a hardcore troubleshooting, high level stuff, as far as hands on, and then a World Bank would be more toward service desk, people oriented customer service, ticketing system, and IT support. So from those two experiences, I wanted to take it into the cloud. Probably I'm looking to do a AWS certification or a Microsoft Azure certification, not sure yet. But I kind of want to become a system admin. If not, then a cloud sysadmin, and then go into the cloud as a cloud consultant or a cloud architect. So 5 years from now, I hope that I can become a cloud architect.
Okay, gotcha. Then I guess what makes me ask is what are you looking for in this position here?
This position, I'm looking for something that would be, you know, I feel like Hilton has more work volume and more opportunity to learn about your Mac OS and iOS support, where in a World Bank it's primarily Windows and some Cisco equipments, not much of Mac. So I know Mac experience is very valuable, so I kind of want to get more experience with the Mac and iOS support as well, because that's gonna be what's needed in the future if I want to support a whole cloud of systems.
Gotcha. All right. Well, okay. One more time. How do you pronounce your name again?
Wasiful.
Wasiful? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, Wasiful. I have no further questions just at this moment.
All right, thank you. And then wonderful. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. So, what would you say in my position, the amount of ticket one would resolve a day?
At your position, how many tickets would resolve per day? Is that what your question?
Yeah.
All right, then the simple answer is depends on how good you are.
I see.
Right? So,
Okay.
for less experienced user, I mean technician, especially they are not familiar with the environment. Of course, it takes a little longer for them to close the ticket. For more experienced technician like James and other technician, it will become an easy ticket for them, right? But then on average, each technician per week should have, including incident and task, it should be easily close 50 or more.
A day.
A day would be too aggressive. I wish you could do that, but I would say a week. Yeah, 10 tickets per day or 20, it should be relatively normal.
Okay. How many tickets? Who assigns the ticket? Like, do you have a moderator?
We have a help desk team. We have a outsourced help desk team. They will take care of the first incoming ticket. If they are not able to resolve it, then they will escalate to the DSS, which the position that you're applying for. And then for who assigned the ticket is among the DSS technician to assign the ticket.
I see. So, what would you say the volume of incoming tickets a week for my team?
For a week for McLean, we can easily have about 200 tickets per week.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question. How big is my team, and what are the management's levels?
Yeah, definitely. So if you were hired, you will be joining the McLean team at the headquarters. Right now, we have 4 technicians on that team. And then James is helping me to run the team, and then he reports to me. And then for other location, I have 3 technicians in Memphis, 3 technicians in Dallas, and 2 in Mexico. And then you guys all work as peers. And of course, like James mentioned, if you have question about an issue, don't know what to do, you can seek out from the local team or anyone in Memphis, Dallas, Mexico. They are all very friendly.
Okay. So, are you seeking to hire someone for this position to make them permanent part of Hilton instead of a contractor? Is there a transition?
All right, that's a very good question. So right now, the business direction is for a contractor position, and then I have a technician been on the account for 13 years, and in Memphis, and then Dallas, he is about 7 years, and James been on the account for more than 3 years. So as long as you perform well, there's no reason for me to let you go.
But is there a transition into a permanent full-time role instead of a contractor?
There's always a possibilities, but then it's not immediate.
Okay. I see. Tell me something that happens at work that would be fun to hear. I just wanted.
Fun to hear. All right. All the people will say that when you're in the first 3 months, you will have a Hilton 10, which means that you will add 10 pounds because Hilton is always full of food, drinks, and then entertainment because they are a hospitality company. And then we have a very nice food court downstairs. And then during COVID and even now, they do have some supplements not the supplement, supplementary to the cost of the food. So that it just makes sure we are full all the time so that we can work.
I see. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so that's always fun at work. But then, of course, just like life, there's always up and downs. We do have fast-paced, high-pressure environment, and then each technician will need to adjust themselves accordingly. But then if you have any questions, concern, James is here, I'm here. Feel free to talk to us. If you are not letting me know what bothers you or what you are thinking, there's no way for me to help. Communication is the key. I have a very close relationship with all the technicians here or other location. I believe in teamwork. If we goes up, we goes all together. If we go down, we go down all together.
Yeah, I agree. So that's all the questions I have.
Okay, that's good. I do have 2 more questions. So first, how far are you away from the McLean office?
I live in McLean, so Tyson's Corner. I don't know, maybe 5 minutes.
Oh, that's good. You could even walk to the office then.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, that's good. And then this position will be when you more familiar with the system, you will be required to be on call. The on-call will be weekly on rotation. So the on-call technician will be take care of the operation or any unexpected event or scheduled event for the office or the user. Have you been on call before?
I was on call for AWS. Yes.
Yes. So pretty much the same. Just stand by. If there's any problem, then we'll call the on-call technician to support for that week after the operation hour.
Sure. Yeah. No problem.
All right. Very last thing. What will be your wow event that you can bring to the team?
Event, you said?
Wow factors.
Wow factor.
What you can bring to the table.
Sure. I think my expertise on hardware troubleshooting, as well as, understanding a system and then backside of the system, a server, if a server goes down. So my AWS experience, I think, would play a big factor of my specialties, and also I don't know if you read it in my resume, but I also have my own freelancing company, not a company, but like an Instagram page, Facebook page, where I build computers. I've been building computers for the last 4 years for, I don't know, 50 people so far. So I have a lot of experience as far as if anyone wants to build a computer, they can reach out to me. I can totally help them out.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. All right. James, do you have any further questions for Wasafa?
No, I don't have any further questions. Thank you, Jess.
All right. Then, Wasafa, we still have a couple more candidates we are going to be interview, but then really appreciate your time. Nice talking to you. Once we have the verdict, we will let Emerald know. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity to interview. It was really nice to meet both of you. I hope I get picked for this position if I'm good.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.